Welcome back to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. The politics lead now. We have some brand new CNN polling for you. Out of one of CNN's 5 key races to watch this midterm election season, it is now a dead heat in the Arkansas Senate race, where Republican Congressman Tom Cotton now has a razor-thin lead in the home of the Razorbacks, just a 2-point advantage over Democratic Senator and incumbent Mark Pryor, well within the survey's 4.5 margin of error, but still in the lead. Right now, every seat counts in the fight for control of the Senate. Our senior Washington correspondent Joe Johns has this story.
The political mischief of Halloween is weeks away, but Arkansas's incumbent Democratic Senator Mark Pryor and his Republican challenger Tom Cotton are running hard and already into some pretty scary stuff, fighting over who voted to support the Ebola virus, or at least pandemic prevention.
I voted for the preparedness. He opposed it.
I asked Cotton about that. He first voted no on preparedness, later voting yes when he got a second chance.
But it just goes to show that Mark Pryor cannot be trusted in what he says about my record when he's calling me pro-Ebola.
Pryor is 51, a cancer survivor, now in his second Senate term. Cotton is 37, a freshman and a lawyer, a veteran who earned the Army's Bronze Star in Afghanistan. It's a bitter battle over their voting records. Frankly, less about the plague and more about the president. Cotton linking the man in the White House, unpopular here, to Arkansas's only remaining Democrat in Congress. $16 million in spending so far, the airwaves saturated with ads.
What Pryor doesn't say is that law was Obamacare.
In a 5-minute speech, Cotton uttered the name Obama 11 times, mentioning Pryor almost in the same breath.
We need a senator who will stand up to Barack Obama and put Arkansas first. And on issue after issue, Mark Pryor is a loyal supporter of Barack Obama.
That's the biggest bunch of hogwash I've ever heard in my life.
The senator and allies hope Cotton's voting record is his Achilles heel, painting his votes as against the interests of Arkansas taxpayers on things like a popular children's hospital here, money for veterans, even against the farm bill in a state that depends on agriculture.
It should be called a food stamp bill because it's 80% food stamp spending in a program that doesn't have adequate reforms.
These are two candidates who could not be more different. Pryor is political royalty in Arkansas, which opens him up to the charge that he's a creature of Washington. His father was also a United States senator.
Pryor's dad, David, was also Arkansas's governor. He remembers Mark as a kid who didn't like it when things got ugly. A little ironic for what's happening in this race for re-election.
Once we found a snake in our backyard, and he refused to kill it. He just said, no, I don't think we should kill that snake.
Cotton is an upstart newcomer, Harvard-educated, a new face in Congress with plenty of energy, but will it make up for what he lacks in experience?
Hi, how y'all doing?
He's also a lawyer. In the Army, he served tours in both Iraq and Afghanistan. Growing up, a high school and college JV basketball player. We talked to one of his old coaches.
He was a good athlete. He was, very focused. Education-wise.
Cotton still has a lot of running to do. In a red state, in a year where Republicans are running strong nationwide, it's a dead heat in Arkansas. Joe Johns, CNN, Little Rock.
Let's bring in our panel, co-host of CNN's Crossfire, Stephanie Cutter, and CNN political commentator and Republican strategist Kevin Madden. Stephanie, this Tom Cotton supports Ebola ad was mocked by no less than Jon Stewart yesterday. Is this the only way that Mark Pryor can keep his seat is by being so negative?
Well, I think Mark Pryor is running a pretty good campaign. Look, this is a very, very red state in a year where basically every single fundamental is working against Democrats. But Mark Pryor has a dead-even race. So I think he's running a great campaign. And I think that the votes that Tom Cotton takes matter. And there's nothing wrong with letting voters in Arkansas know about them.
Well, the problem I think for Pryor is that, like Joe Johns said in his package, he is practically political royalty down there. Somebody with his sort of name ID to only be at 45% as an incumbent. That is a very, very dangerous place to be. So I think if Cotton goes out there and he continues to draw the contrast with Obama, remind voters that he'd be a vote to be a check against the Obama agenda, which is very unpopular. Obama is at 60% disapproval rating in a place like Arkansas. This is going to be a prime pickup opportunity for us in November.
But does it suggest the fact that Cotton is attacking Pryor by attacking Obama, does that suggest that there isn't much really about Mark Pryor that he can go after as much as about Pryor supporting Obama, and that's kind of trying to change the subject.
But that is where Pryor's biggest vulnerability is that his agenda is aligned with President Obama's agenda, which is very unpopular.